On today's Minute of the Apes, it's the year 1991.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape! Exercise with an ape maker, human down. Then talks. Walking over the divine bound. We are determined to know what the apes want. War or peace? The only good human is a dead human!
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time, and we let Sean tease with Conan O'Brien bits. In case you didn't know where that came from, I had to ask after he teased. I was like, what is that? And so he explained to me. If you're a Conan fan, you knew.
You will get it, yes.
Those of us that are marginal Conan fans, I didn't get it.
Will not get it.
I'm stupid.
I mean, I've only taken you to see Conan once here
I know
in
that.
Dallas.
I like Conan, but I don't love Conan.
All right. Well, no, you... we have differing Conan opinions. You watch Conan O'Brien and you watch the opening monologue. Mm-hmm. I don't listen to the opening monologue. I go straight to the interviews.
I usually, with Conan, whenever he used to have musical guests, because I love music so much, mm-hmm. I will literally nightly record Fallon, Colbert, all of them, so I can just zip forward and see the musical guests, because that's where you've discovered a lot of new music. Oh, yeah. And Conan became that with me, and in a weird way, Conan started hooking me out with the way women will come and go, you look good. I started going, man, that's kind of wrong. It just kind of grosses me out.
Do you listen to his podcast?
No, I don't. I've never tried it.
I think you would enjoy it.
I think he's a very smart man.
There are two podcasts. There's Inside Conan, which is producers talking about the show. Okay. And then there's Conan Needs a New Best Friend, which is him interviewing celebrities. I think you'd like them both.
Okay. I'll check that out.
All right.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
Welcome to the Conan podcast. So
seriously.
On this Conan Minute...
You're going to jump in?
On this Conan Minute, we talk about...
okay, I don't know what we can talk about in this Conan Minute. We'll talk about Minute 9.
Let's talk Conquest about this minute, yeah.
Sean, tell us what's going on with Minute 9.
We're going to start Minute 9 with Armando gesturing at the current situation and ends with Lisa appearing to check Milo out.
Lisa. Here we come. Minute 9. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Became larger and larger until now...
It's monstrous.
Now you understand why I've kept you away.
Yes, Lisa. A young queen falls for Mrs. Riley. No! Lisa. Yes?
Could you possibly be so kind as to display it in your window, please?
When I have the time.
Thank you.
All right, it's Minute 9. We got monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, Milo, Caesar, humans, everything.
Okay. So we begin to understand that this is his first trip to the city. We understand that he's seeing these...
Did you play the minute?
Yeah, we just talked about it.
Sorry.
Did you not listen?
Come on, Richard.
Are you not entertained?
Do we need to go back talking about Conan O'Brien? No. Just kidding. We understand this is his first trip to the city, his first time seeing the oppression of his race. Why are they here? Usually in a movie, you don't know. You need to know why and what's going on.
I will tell you what. Since we can't talk about the next minute, but we're talking about this minute, the next minute and this minute were flipped in the script.
Really? So, and just to tease, the next minute has them where he interacts with another ape. So that actually occurred before?
The next minute has them in a cafe area. and the next minute after that was supposed to be the bookseller. Instead, the editor's choice was to put the bookseller first and then the cafe second.
That's weird.
I feel like the cafe would have explained more about the book moment. But I think the director was trying to get them. I think the editor was trying to get them outside for what happens the minute after that.
Yeah,
or if it's actually minute 2.
So, and I hate to be jumping into tomorrow's 2, but that actually
makes more sense
because
you understand what's going on.
Especially at the end of the minute for tomorrow, where I was like, why is this occurring this way? You know, if things have been flipped back the other way, it's just weird. But
honestly, it was an editor's choice to move this around. I think to get the characters back outside for the minute catching this ape, this chimpanzee. But I honestly think that it made more sense for the cafe scene to happen first.
I think that also if Armando had given, eventually we will see him with flyers in hand. I wish that he had been giving them
the whole time
while they're talking, so we actually get an idea of there's paperwork, there's something.
So it kind of
I'm sorry. He should have had papers when he came off the helicopter. I didn't even think about this. In hand, walk past the guards. As he's getting in the elevator, he gives part of it to Milo and says, all right, you're going to be distributing these as well.
And he could have even pasted one up beside the elevator, anything like that.
So instead, what we do is we cut from the scene about pets Caesar kind of ending with Armando saying the camaraderie at the circus where humans are kind to animals is very different from what you are at sea. Caesar says, what a difference.
We know how kind
don't talk from now on.
We know how kind circuses are to animals.
But then we just suddenly cut to the interior of this bookshop, right? We have a woman who has a chimp to her left that's in a green outfit, of course, and she's talking to an orangutan who's in an orange outfit.
Is this our first time to see an orangutan?
No, we saw briefly in the crowd.
Very briefly.
In a wide shot, we saw them. This is definitely the first we are registering 100%.
That we've got all three.
Yeah, that you're seeing their face and you know it.
The bookseller actually names the chimp Lisa. Although it was a little under mic, I was like, did they say Lisa?
Lisa.
Yeah,
the
they
script
did
brings
say
it out
Lisa.
and says that the chimp is named Lisa.
Which, at this point, let's say that is Natalie Trundy in the makeup. That's officially.
Are you just going to say that?
Well, yes.
Well, it has to be.
Because
Why
I'm
does
sorry,
it have to be?
it's listed in the credits.
Who else would it be?
At the beginning, it just says and Natalie Trundy.
But in the credits themselves, if you go on IMDb, we've always said, should it give someone's name, we can talk about who's playing that person.
All right. So that
I'm adhering to the rules that we've given.
Lisa.
Yes, and that's why I said I recognized her as. Did you realize that was her right away?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
She's doing a great job moving her eyes and looking.
JJ just put a plate or a bowl of nuts on the table, just in case anybody heard that.
And JJ for the win.
I'm going to have one.
Hey, get
Literally.
on D. Are you going to eat those nuts or D's nuts?
Oh
my goodness.
Are those? Which one are those? There's the spicy ones or the cinnamon ones, honey? Spicy. All right.
Yummy.
Get on it. Anyways,
So
she's very harsh to the orangutan.
Lisa procures a card that has obviously a book title on it called A Young Queen Falls. I looked it up. I could not find a book called A Young Queen Falls. So I have no idea if it's a reference Dane was making. But the book was A Young Queen Falls. And the orangutan then walks to a bookshelf and looks at some books on the shelf. And I have to say...
and the woman gives some kind of weird hand sign.
So my note here is...
She goes 5 and 3.
Is that what she does?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my note was... So the orangutans can understand gestures, but not spoken words.
Not read.
And they can find a specific book, so can they read? That's what my question is.
But 5 and 3 might be designating place on shelf and shelf number.
Well, that would be saying, go to this row, this shelf, but then you've still got books on there that you've got to find. 5-3 doesn't say
It could be 5th shelf, 3rd book.
But which row? So see,
Maybe they've already been talking. I don't know.
It will not work. This shall not pass.
But she is so incredibly harsh to the orangutan. And first off, is that a female orangutan? It doesn't matter.
I think it is.
It kind of, the eyes really looked a little more feminine.
I think the hair kind of looks feminine.
If you can have eyes that look feminine, maybe something about the eyelashes that looked feminine to me.
So my next note was, I bet the orangutan got the wrong book on purpose, forcing that bitch to walk 10 whole steps to do her own goddamn work. I mean, because that's all she has to do, like walk 5 feet away and she's done.
But it's a weird little scene that puts Armando and Caesar walking in We're introduced to Lisa. We're introduced to the idea that this woman is bossing the apes around. They give her a flyer, and then Caesar sees Lisa. That's the gist of it. Now, if you want to talk about why they flip it around, I do think your whole thing about going inside out is very important, because there is a rule to that we as visual story watchers want to see coming and going, so that we feel like we're doing what we do in daily life. We come in and out. So I can see maybe for that reason why they flipped it in, but I do think the scene itself would make more sense were it to follow the next scene. And we see, because in the next scene, there's a little bit more overt of a give a flyer to people kind of approach. And it would make more sense of why they've gone in there for it.
And then once the book is found, it's like, Lisa, take this book and get the hell out of here.
Right. Well, then the woman also just looks at the flyer and what's her response?
Oh, she goes,
I'll do it when I have time.
Armando goes, would you display this in your store when I have the time? I'm going, woman, you're just standing there right now. Walk up there, put it there, and you're done. What have the time to put a flyer up?
She's just a bitch.
So the young orangutan, get those out. I can't move this. I'm eating.
Eat them.
I'm eating too many.
That's your protein.
No, it's my fat for the day.
Oh, fat.
So
JJ, quit making Richard fat.
So the script direction says she extends all 5 fingers of her left hand and 3 fingers of her right. We pan to the orangutan shuffling to the case. He counts 5 shelves down from the top, and erroneously 2 titles from the left. Right?
That's why I said. I think Lisa deliberately got the wrong book.
The Story of Servants' Liberation by Herbert Simos.
But it also feeds into what I said, fifth shelf, third book. That's what she wants.
And Porn is Dead.
Wait, Porn is Dead?
Porn is Dead by Minnie Sokolowski.
That's a lie.
Porn never dies!
He hesitates between the latter and A Young Queen Falls and picks Porn is Dead and takes it to the cellar.
Wait, did it say he?
Yeah.
It's a male. To the script, might be a female.
But there's not a book on there that says Porn is Dead.
Well, we can understand why. You're not going to put something on there mentioning porn at all in a G-rated film.
So it specifically
Wait, is this G-rated?
All these films are G-rated.
So it specifically says bookseller, but it's obviously a book reseller because none of these books are new.
Wait, so you can shoot people in a G-rated movie and it's cool?
It's
very different.
I don't know what 1972 bookstores look like, but I do what 1991 bookstores look like.
Actually, I'm sorry. Apparently, it's been recertified as a PG.
Oh, okay.
I'd read that before all were G, and it may have been G when it's come out, but subsequent release is now PG.
They're definitely. It looks like they're at a library.
It does.
It's a weird assemblage of books. The books are kind of worn. They're not new. But I assumed this is bookseller. I assumed it was a bookstore. It might be a resale.
I thought it was a bookstore too. Yeah,
it might be a resale bookstore, but it just looks like crap. Anyway, the orangutan grabs the wrong one, walks over. The bookseller is annoyed. No, and now we're getting a sense of how the people actually interact with their
slaves or their servants or whatever.
Right. Before we'd seen them walking around them with them. We'd seen the police be brutal. And we'd seen them walking as if they were going, carrying their bags, carrying
being
books.
Trained or whatever. Yeah.
This one we actually see somebody being aggressive, and she is just nasty and annoyed. She didn't have to say much more than that. She just says no, and it hurt me. Like, it was kind of hard.
Well, a lot of this is hard, and
she scolds, and then she walks away to take the book.
Sorry, Richard.
She's got a bone. It's not my stuff.
All right.
She's annoyed, and she takes the book and walks away from the orangutan to put the book back and get the correct one. And I'm like, how effective would it be to have pets that just do the wrong thing 90% of the time? I wouldn't let them do anything.
Well, I mean, I've seen videos of people that have taught their dogs to open up a fridge and bring them a beer, and then close the fridge, and then throw the old beer away or whatever. But you can't teach a monkey to grab the right book.
Well, I think what would have been interesting, because did the orangutan choose to get the wrong book? Or
Again,
get the wrong
that's
book
what
by
I
mistake?
think. I think they did it on purpose.
And I think they did it on purpose. And what you would have liked to have seen is a tight shot between the orangutan and Lisa, just where that looks over and kind of like,
yeah, I know what you did.
I know what you did. And they kind of
and then
look
you
away.
get
making her go back and get the correct selection, making her do the work and not the orangutan.
Well, even to stand up to the woman. They're not going to tell me what to do, that kind of thing.
I mean, if you a thing where
it.
It's almost like you have the note that has the name of the book on it, and then you have the book, and you have her looking at the note and seeing that they're totally different, and then bringing the book regardless.
So we end up again, we've stated everything that happens in the moment, but the weird thing to me is Caesar
checks out. Lisa?
Dude, he does not belong in the Me Too environment because his checkout is kind of gross.
He is ripped all her clothes off.